He's more than an athlete. He's an artist.
I think you're in love, Ron.
Shut up.
Victor, I love you. Victor, I do.
When we're apart, my heart beats only.
Harry Potter!
Hey, my eyes aren't glistening with the ghost of my past.
I'm not an owl.
Technically, it's a fact.
Ah, c'est magnifique.
Kill the stag.
I'm on a Barty Crouch!
Behaving like a babbling, bumbling band of baboons.
Junior.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for listening to Retold on Patreon.
Ooh.
Ooh. Kind of. You might be listening to this and thinking, Barry, this isn't on Patreon. This is on like Spotify or YouTube or Apple Music, wherever you listen to your pods, whatever pods are cast. But this is, I guess we are officially launching now the Patreon for Retold. And yeah, you're applauding. I know you are in your cars or wherever you are, but thank you, Jesse. But I wanted this to be like a little teaser for what's going to be on the Patreon that we do. So if you hear this and you enjoy this episode and you think, wow, I want to give this guy more money to talk about Harry Potter.
More money.
Oh, they don't give me any money. I want to give this guy money. Then you can sign up on Patreon at patreon.com/retoldpodcast. But here's the situation. So this is the first Patreon episode. Every single month, I'm going to be releasing 2 bonus episodes on Patreon. And then, Future Barry will have already hopped in at the beginning of this episode to explain all the tiers because Present Barry hasn't ironed it out yet. But by this time this comes out, Barry will have done that.
We love Future Barry.
He's wonderful. He gets every Quizzitch question correct and all the information. He's great. Aw, you're too sweet past Jesse and Barry, and your trust in me was not misplaced. Future Barry here, and I do have the details ironed out. If you want to sign up for the Patreon, there is one tier, the $5 a month tier known as Ickle Firsties. And with that $5 a month pledge, you will get access to ad-free content, the 2 monthly bonus episodes where we cover Hogwarts mystery and another Potter discussion each month. You will also get exclusive voting power to help me decide what I want to cover in future episodes or what we want to cover in future episodes in different series and spinoffs. You will also get the Quizzitch creator function where you can suggest Quizzitch questions for me to ask my guest hosts on different episodes for different chapters. You will also get access to the Patreon group chat where you and other listeners of the pod can talk about episodes and communicate with me and all that fun stuff. And finally, there's the member shout out that if you sign up and support this podcast with $5 a month, then I will shout you out and say thank you, a very well-deserved thank you for supporting this podcast to you by name or whatever nickname you dub yourself at the closest episode I can after you pledge. But thank you very much if you decide to support. Hope you do. And we can go on this Hogwarts mystery journey together because it's so much fun. Sidebar, you can still go and sign up to become a free member on the Patreon and you'll get access to the community group chat as well. So if you feel like you can't support financially, but you want to be a part of the larger conversation and chime in with your thoughts and stuff every now and then and see what we're all talking about, you can do that too. Anyway, thank you very much if you decide to support. Thank you even if you didn't and you're just listening to this episode. I appreciate you. Back to the podcast. But so we will release 2 episodes every single week and every single month. And one of those episodes is going to be a Hogwarts mystery like story retelling. Because if you don't know, there is this Harry Potter mobile game that has come out. It's been out for years now that includes a whole lot of lore about the series. Now, we can sit and argue about whether or not it's canon. I think majority probably don't consider it canon, but it's fun and it's enjoyable. And so I want to talk about it, and I hope you guys will enjoy this too. It's a fresh story. It's a new story that you can dive into. There's a lot of fun twists and turns, and you can play the mobile game yourself. But here's the thing. The mobile game, Jesse, you've played it.
Yes.
There's a lot of waiting where like you do a task and you have to wait a long time to do another task. Rather than do that, listeners, you could just pay me money to tell you what happens in the game.
I'm actually so excited to be able to retell and just go through the story because it was infuriating to play the game. Like, I am a stubborn person. Like, I'm going to finish something I start unless it's trash. And that was one thing that I just kept failing because I just run out of time and wouldn't remember to go back to it. And I was like, I can't finish the story. So
You know,
I'm very excited to finally finish it.
I know I read the walkthrough, and at certain points it would say, we would recommend that if you're not like paying to play, because then you have to wait to recharge, to have your energy fully stocked up before you do this test so you can finish it in time.
I know, and I really need to set timers because you can do everything without paying, but it's like when your energy refills in 2 hours and 50 minutes, you have to get on there before the 3-hour time limit.
It's basically a job, like to keep up with everything. But you don't have to do any of that, listeners. You can just listen to the Patreon. And so what we're going to do in this episode, and I should probably explain too, the second episode each month will probably be something, just a random Potter discussion. We might play a game. You know, Jesse has some fun Harry Potter games for us to play. We might do something like Dobstones or whatever, like actual Wizarding World games. Somebody comes in and just sprays us with like, I don't know,
or exploding
mustard.
snaps, and we just have cards exploding.
And then, you know, like we already recorded another Patreon episode where Jesse and I share our thoughts on Cursed Child. We went and saw that at the Fox Theater in Atlanta. And so every single month, 2 episodes, but let's get to it already. So we'll be covering the first year of Hogwarts Mystery. It's just to kind of give a little bit of a description about the game. I even pulled up the website. It's funny. Their homepage doesn't really give you a lot of info about the game. It's just like, it kind of advertises as like, so what is Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery? Is the first game in which players can create their own character and experience life as a Hogwarts student. The game will launch under Portkey Games, and it's funny it says will.
Yeah, that makes me think they haven't updated it since they've launched the game.
From Warner Bros. And it is just basically saying this is coming out. But game features, you get to live your Hogwarts experience, customize your character, choose your house. It's like Hogwarts Legacy, but not as big and in a phone.
Yeah. Another thing about this, since we're only telling you, the animation is so weird. Like, it doesn't bother me except their expressions. They give them these really exaggerated, weird expressions where you're like, they're like, I made a really silly face if you are not watching this. But it's like, just animate it not weird. I don't know. Like, they didn't have to do that.
Sometimes it is really funny. There's a moment I'll call out early on. But so yeah, you're just a Hogwarts student. You get to go through all 7 years at Hogwarts, and you even get to do like, now they've come out with Beyond Hogwarts stuff. So we'll be camped out here in this for probably over a year for doing like 1 episode a month of this story. Because after reading the whole walkthrough and I watched a video on it of a walkthrough, I thought, you know, I can't do a full year in just 1 episode. If I'm going to give you a good retelling, listeners. So this first episode is going to be the first half of year 1. Year 1 is divided up into 10 chapters if you play the game. So we'll cover the first 5 chapters. Next episode, we'll do the next 5 chapters. And then we'll do a third episode talking about the side quests and the bonus missions, because they are wild. Like, just a not a spoiler, but like a little teaser. As a first year, you have to duel Fenrir Greyback.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was like, holy crap.
So they have like event ones, and the events were always too stupid for me to do. But some of the side quests were actually really fun. Like, you can become an animagus, and I did that. So they didn't have many options when it first came out. I think they've added more, so I was just like a dog or whatever. But it was really fun because you have to like make the potion and do all the stuff, and then that affects the next year. Like, if you have the ability to become an animagus, it changes like later decisions that you can make. So it's really cool.
And so I think, and one last caveat, you're like, Barry, get to the story already. But one last caveat is, there are decisions you can make that can influence the story. And when I read a walkthrough, and in that one, it gave me the multiple options and how, like, what comes about from each option. But then I watched a video because I thought I want to get the full experience and see what the game player sees. And that one, the video walkthrough online only had
His choices.
just that particular person's choice, and so that's all I saw. And so when I do the retellings, we might not get every single avenue you go down.
I might suddenly remember what I chose.
Yeah. But another thing we're going to do is I'm going to gamify this experience for you a little bit. Since this isn't books, this is a video game, we will have moments in the episode where I will ask Jesse a trivia question.
Ooh.
And if you're going to be listening to this on Patreon, if you're one of my patrons, what I want you to do, I'm going to leave like a slight pause. And I want you to come up with the answer yourself when the question is asked. Keep track of your score, how many points you get, because your character at the end of each year has potential to win the House Cup. Mm-hmm. And so you might not always win the House Cup. Your house might
always won the House Cup.
Your house might not be in first. And so there's going to be two competitions going on. One is just for Jessie privately. If she can get my trivia questions correct and rack up enough points, she will win the House Cup. Mm-hmm. But if you're a listener, if you're a patron, then you will be in competition with the other patrons to see which of the patrons wins the House Cup.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. It's a genius move, Barry. Good job. All right. Anyway, so let's get to it. Chapter 1. I wrote down Diagon Alley, but it's not. It's called like The Journey Begins. Chapter 1, The Journey Begins. This will be the name. First thing you do, you got to name your character when you go into this. You got to name your character, give him a fun wizardy name. That's what I was going to ask you. What are we going to name him?
So it's going to be a boy. You get to choose a gender.
Oh, okay. Do we want boy or girl?
No, I'm fine with boy.
Boy. It's a boy. So boy, and the name could be Oswald. I like Oswald as the first name. You say the last name.
That's a long name to continue.
They'll call him Oz.
Oz. Let's call. Yeah. Okay.
Or Ozzy.
Ozzy. We can call him Ozzy.
Ozzy.
Okay. Let's think of a. Oh my goodness! I'm
just throwing out Pratchett.
Should it be a British name? Well, give me a region that I can think of a last name. Britain.
Or America.
Yarbrough.
Oh, I like it. That's going to be a lot to say.
Oswald Yarbrough. We just call him Ozzy though.
Ozzy Yarb.
Ozzy Yarb.
Ozzy Yarb. All right. Ozzy Yarb. So Ozzy heads on into Diagon Alley, and he's a little lost boy, doesn't know where to go. Lucky Ozzy, though, I'm just going to use the pronoun you instead of Oz each time. Lucky you run into Rowan Kana. Now, Rowan is a character based on which gender you choose. They will be a boy or girl as well. So Rowan, in our playthrough, we refer to him as he. Rowan Kana, he gives off a lot of Hermione vibes. Mm-hmm. You see him right when you walk into Diagon Alley. You don't explore it all at first. He's right there. You talk to him, and he's like, he literally says the meme line of like, I'm something of a scholar myself.
I know. I always wondered because when I played Ravenclaw, mm-hmm. and so Rowan is in the same house as you, and I was like, if he's not in Ravenclaw, it's got to be weird. Mm-hmm. Like,
yeah, but he so he gives off a lot of Hermione vibes. He said he even says he's read Hogwarts a history, and he tells you where you have to go because, like we said, you're a little lost boy. You go to Flourish and Blots first,
and it's interesting too because I think do they mention like your character doesn't have their parents with them?
No, your character's all by the lonesome. It's like when Voldemort shows up. That's another thing too about this episode is we can on the Patreon spoilers abound as far as the main series. We don't have to like hide thing in the main series.
Yeah, so who knows what happened to your parents, but they're not with you, little 11-year-old. You're off on your own. You're a big kid now.
Yeah, that's right. It's like freaking Pokemon.
Yeah,
you know? Just 1 year more. So you go into Flourish and Blots first. Get your books. You come on out, and I love this moment. Rowan says, I got my Hogwarts acceptance letter. Did you get one too? Cool. Let me see yours. And it gave off like fake cop vibes of like, yeah, this is my ID. Let me see yours too. And you see your Hogwarts acceptance letter signed from Minerva McGonagall. And Rowan calls himself a serious intellectual. And you get to pick for him one of three options. Either a serious sweater, a smart scarf, or a cool hat. Jesse, what is Ozzy going to pick for Rowan?
I didn't choose this one, but let's do a cool hat.
A cool hat.
Try to up Rowan's cool factor.
All right. I hate that, but we'll do it since you get to pick. Because I just thought hats don't really look that good.
No, it's dorky. I thought this one is one of the dorkiest options. In my game, I chose a smart scarf.
Yeah, that's what I chose in my head when I was doing it. But we're gonna go with the cool hat for Rowan. You also go to get your wand, so you head off to Ollie V's, and you make a mess just like Harry does. He gives you a wand, you wave it, and you break stuff. And that's when we get the first. This is important, listeners. The first mention of your brother.
Mm-hmm.
Your brother is a huge part of this story, a huge mystery in this story. He's one of the mysteries in Hogwarts. Mystery.
That's why your parents didn't come with you.
That's why your parents. But he mentions your brother and he says, oh, yeah, I remember every wand I ever sold. Even the one I gave to your brother, the one that they snapped in half after he got expelled. And you're like, holy crap.
You're like, thanks for my worst memory relived.
Yeah, what did he do? And he ends up asking you a question. I didn't write down the question, but I think it was something along the lines of, how do you feel about what happened to your brother? Yeah. And so, Jesse, I'm going to ask you, because what you choose determines your wandwood.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to what happened to your brother, do you feel bad, angry, or disappointed?
Bad for him.
You feel bad for him. That means you'll get an acacia wandwood.
Oh, yes, I love that.
Is that the one you actually have?
I can't remember, but isn't it acacia?
That's probably right. Acacia. I wrote it. I don't know if you'll see it in the video, but I was reading the word and I thought, I never looked up the pronunciation.
Yeah. And I also know, I don't remember my first one because it does actually come a time where you get a second one in the game. So
you head back outside and Rowan is wearing the thing you told him to buy. He's got his cool hat on. And he recognizes your wandwood right away. And you're like, bro, how do you have such ball knowledge about wandwood? And it's because, do you remember?
Yes, because Rowan's family owns a wood tree farm.
A wood tree farm. You mean just a tree farm, I guess?
Yeah, but they're used for wandwood, so they're magical trees.
Broomwood.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
well.
I didn't remember that part.
Yeah.
But I always thought that would be so cool. Like, your family just grows trees, you live on an orchard, and they're made into magical
objects. You have to have so many different kinds of trees out there. Just a magic tree farm. They probably use magic to change all the, ecosystems of soil, because all these trees need that's a good point.
Types of things to grow in.
But he doesn't work on it much, though, because he's an indoor boy with no friends. He's like, I stay inside most of the time.
He's a nerd.
And I love this moment where y'all decide to be weird together, because he says, I'm kind of weird. And you go, yeah, well, everybody's going to look at me weird because they think my brother is either like a no good doer or a weird, or somebody who's gone mad. And so then you both go, well, let's be weird together. And I love that.
It's good little kid logic.
So Rowan says to you, he asks, should he keep quiet or follow your lead whenever somebody gives you a hard time about your brother? And I love it so much because you're talking about the weird facial expressions, but in that moment, the Rowan character goes, like he's just such an angry face on him. Like, you want me to do something?
You want me to beat him up with my smart scarf?
I wrote down some particular dialogue lines that I really enjoyed. He says, I'll use my extensive vocabulary to verbally pummel anyone who tries to besmirch your reputation. There's a lot of kind of syllables, whatever those are called.
Alliterations.
Yeah. And that's the end of chapter 1. Yay. So moving on now to chapter 2, Welcome to Hogwarts. You ride the train to the school. You don't get to see inside of the train, at least in this year. I don't know if you ever do.
I
haven't gotten
remember
that far.
it in the 5 years that I did, but...
Yeah, so, and that's another thing. Jesse's played 5 years. I haven't played. I played part of year 1. And that was about it. And then I was like, I'm done. So you don't get to see the Hogwarts Express. Like, you don't get to see the inside. You just see the train going. And then you're in the Great Hall for the sorting ceremony. And they go out of order, just like the movies do, rather than in name order, because your character is one of the last to get sorted. Rowan will always get sorted before you as well. But Rowan also goes, like you said, to the same house as you. So this is when we have to decide, Jesse, what house is Rowan going to go to? Or not Rowan.
Ozzy.
Ozzy. So I know you want to say Ravenclaw, but I just want you to think about this. we could either do, so listeners, if you've forgotten, I'm a Hufflepuff, Jesse's a Ravenclaw. We could either do, he goes to Ravenclaw, and then later, when we play Hogwarts Legacy, our character will go to Hufflepuff. Or we can flip it, or we can stay on mutual ground and go with Slytherin or Gryffindor.
Yeah. I'm like a wing Gryffindor. Hogwarts Legacy, I've played all of them, and I actually think being a Hufflepuff, besides for the color, I hate the color yellow, but their common room is the best in Hogwarts Legacy.
That's one of the things I hate about Hufflepuff merch.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is the worst color
It's a tough
to rock.
color to work with.
So should we go Ravenclaw and then do Hufflepuff and Hogwarts Legacy?
Yeah, we can do that.
That's what we'll do. So our player is a Ravenclaw. Unfortunately, Jesse, in the playthrough that I watched, they chose Gryffindor. So if there are changes, I'm not going to know what they
there
are.
actually is one change because there's a part where you have to sneak into the Gryffindor common room, and as a Ravenclaw, I had to sneak into the Gryffindor common room, but that would change obviously if you're a Gryffindor.
We'll look it up, the difference. But anyway,
we got sorted into Ravenclaw.
Yay!
I also think that Rowan just fits best in Ravenclaw. Like, it doesn't, I don't know. I can see Hufflepuff, though.
Yep. So at this point, you go to your table, you have your feast. Dumbledore stands up and he says, it's really funny. This is Dumbledore letting you know when the game takes place. And he goes, just so everybody knows, the boy who lived, Harry Potter, is safe. Like, he's like being taken care of by his family. And in a few years, he will come to this school. So it's letting you know this game takes place before the main series. And then he says, but now it's your turn. And so, yay, it's us. We get to do our own story. And he says the normal line of, any rule breaking will lose you points, but if you follow the rules, then you'll earn points for your house. So get out there and fight, kids. And you have the feast and you head to your common room. Rowan says, if you want, I can tell you all the lore about our house. And I love our character goes, let's just take it in. Let's just enjoy the common room and what it looks like. And so the screen kind of pans around the common room and you see a bunch of people doing magic, people float, people eating candy, steam coming out the ears, all the fun stuff. It's very whimsical. I really enjoyed that little cutscene. And then one character comes up to you, a third year, and says, hey, you shouldn't be in this house. Your brother, who will be in the same house you were in, besmirched our house's name. And that's when Rowan pipes up for you. He's like, hey, you leave him leave Ozzy alone. All right. Had like a third year messing with Ozzy, a first year. What's up with you? So he walks off and just mumbling.
I wonder though, does that change depending on what you told Rowan to do earlier? Like if you told him to follow your lead versus defend you? Yeah.
So on the playthrough that I watched, it said, follow my lead. And then whenever he stands up for you, he goes, sorry, I know you said to follow your lead, but I just got angry.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's the first day of class, the next day, and we have charms first. And the Flitwick that they went with is the Suave Flitwick.
With the nice hair.
With the nice hair, yeah. So not the old version, but like the James Bond version.
I heard, is it still the same actor? They just changed his...
The same actor is going to be playing Flitwick in the series, yeah.
Really? No, I meant like in the movies. The same guy that plays him, but they just changed his style.
I think so, because it was what's that director's name? Alfonso Cuarón, when he took over for movie 3, he was like, we're gonna make it different. So I think it was the same actor though.
The same actor though. They just changed his hair.
Yeah. But this is and he says to you, bro, Ozzy, your brother, Jacob, because in every version, your brother's name is Jacob. So it'll be Jacob Yarborough. Your brother, Jacob Y.
Why, Jacob? Why?
He was dope at charms. He was really good at charms, but he was also a misbehavior. What are you going to be? And you get a chance to answer that question. We get the Lumos lecture, the wand lighting charm. And so this is our first trivia question moment. Okay, so every question will be worth 10 points unless I say otherwise.
In the book, didn't they not learn Lumos until like his 3rd year?
Jesse, you're really stepping on the question right now.
Okay, go ahead.
The trivia question is true or false. This spell is not mentioned in the first year.
True.
Listeners, keep track of your score. The answer was true. It's not mentioned in the first year. But you would be wrong to say third year. It's mentioned in the second year.
Okay.
And Chamber of Secrets is the first time that this spell is mentioned, even though in this Hogwarts mystery timeline, it's being taught in the first year. But I guess they could have learned it in the first year, potentially.
Yeah, it seems a simple spell. I wouldn't be like, oh, no way they could learn that.
Your question almost was, does Harry illegally use this spell? And I would have worded it differently. What I was getting at is, in the fifth book, when Harry fights off the Dementors in Little Whinging, he also casts Lumos with the wand, and that's not brought up. It just says the Patronus spell in the letter that's sent to him from the Ministry, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah,
But
I guess it was like the greater offense, and so they're already like, you broke the law with this one. We're gonna, we don't need to get you on tax evasion. You just murdered someone.
Jeez, fun law fact. There typically what I've heard is that in many cases, if you commit a crime, there's like, let's say there's like several different degrees of it. They won't charge you typically with each of the lesser degrees, but just the greatest one that you committed. So maybe that was the same thinking that the Ministry did. Anyway, so that was our Lumos lesson, and we head on out to potions, where we learn the cure for boils. And I think that's book accurate in that that's what they learned in year one as well.
Yeah.
But a girl named Marula, remember this girl, Marula, is bullying Rowan, and she wants him to admit that she is the most powerful witch. And I love his reaction. He's basically going, that's logically impossible. You're a first year, just like us. You got McGonagall, you got Sprout, you Madam Hooch even, and then he throws in all of the seventh years. He's like, there's no way you could be the most powerful witch at either ever or at Hogwarts Castle. I forget
Yeah, he's
which.
like, my logic does not compute.
Error. But she doesn't like that answer. You walk up and you got two options. You can either choose to distract her or ignore her. And if you choose to distract her, your sassy little character says, I don't know why the most powerful witch would choose to bully a first year. So it's kind of you getting Rowan's back like he had yours earlier. But she doesn't like that answer, and she disses your brother. And she also threatens to kill you. Like, she basically says, like, I'll put you out of your misery if you need me to. And I was like, dang, this game took off quick. But Snape shows up and tells y'all to get to class. And I note in my little parentheses, there's a house elf in the hallway. Like, as you look around, there's a little house elf chilling.
Actually, so one of the things, if you play the game, which I don't know if you saw or not, but you can find hidden energy points. And one of them is you clicking the house elf, and it like startles them awake because they kind of like snooze. And then when you click them, they like see you, and then they disapparate.
I love that.
Yeah.
Energy points allow you to do the activities.
So you always go and tap the house elf.
Just go bully some house elves, wake them up from their sleepies. But you go into the potions room, and Snape says, this is your first potions class. I wrote down a lot of his dialogue specifically because it's just insulting and kind of funny each time. Snape says, this is many of your first potions class, and if you're as awful as you look, it could also be your last. I really enjoyed that. There's more of that to come from Snape.
I also wondered, so Snape is pretty mean to you in this game too, and it's because of your brother, and so he's like, you're no good person. But I wondered if you were in Slytherin in this game, if his dialogue softens at all for you.
Yeah, that would be interesting, because he does like hype up Marula later about like representing Slytherin, so I don't know. But Snape, so he said, one, he gives the same speech where he's like, I can teach you how to bewitch the mind and ensnare the senses. And I was like, same script. He does the same thing to each class. And he also, like, when you make the potions, he goes, follow my lead, watch what I'm doing. And the little Snape in the game he puts up his hands and he does the sleeve pull down that he does in the Goblet of Fire movie. But it's even funnier because it's not that great at graphics.
Yeah.
And so the sleeves don't move at all. It's just his fingers going like this on sleeves that aren't moving.
And probably him making half of the faces he makes are like.
Yeah. And it's funny, as you're making your potion, you see him like peeping on you. Just, here is your other trivia question, Jesse. So I need you to close your eyes.
Okay.
Eyes. You cover. You can't see this.
Okay.
Because I had it pulled up over here. In Harry's first year, Snape says, "Tell me, Mr. Potter, what would you get if I crossed Asphodel and Wormwood?" And then he also says, "Where would you go if I told you to find a Bezoar?" And then he says, "What is the difference between Monkswood and Wolfsbane?" Can you give me the answer to any of those questions?
Yes. The Bezoar is in the stomach of the goat.
Very good.
I think that Asphodel and Wormwood, I think that's a sleeping draught. Is that right?
That is incorrect.
Okay. And then the difference, I'm pretty sure there is no difference between the other two.
That is correct. As for Monkswood and Wolfsbane, they are the same plant, which also goes by the name aconite. And then Asphodel and Wormwood make... Oh, you're right. It is a sleeping potion.
Oh, I know all of them.
So I jumped ahead and it wrote down Draft of Living Death. But yay, good job, Jesse.
Is a strong sleeping potion.
Who knew? She got them all right. 20 points so far for Jesse. What about you, listeners? So anyway, he says, finish your potions quickly. I want to see how bad you do. Marula sabotages you because you're making your potion and you do it by the book, but all of a sudden your potion explodes, like the cauldron just cracks. And Snape, at first he sees your potion doing well, and he goes, maybe you don't suck. And then it explodes, and he goes, JK, you do suck. And he asks you what you have to say to yourself. Now, on the walkthrough I watched, our character blamed Marula and said she probably did something. But he takes 10 points away from your house because he doesn't really believe you, and he hypes up Marula. And that's the end of chapter 2. Yay! Moving on now to chapter 3, dealing with trouble. Ooh. So in the beginning of chapter 3, you leave potions and you head to the Great Hall. And there you meet, I wrote down meet, it's the first time I met her, but your character seems to already have a repertoire with a girl named Penny from Hufflepuff.
Yeah, she's one of my favorite characters. Good Hufflepuff representation.
Seems like she's a rather gossipy Hufflepuff. And she says, hey, McGonagall has an announcement today. And McGonagall stands up and says that, this is interesting, the Sphinx, Dragon, and Hippogriff clubs will be opening their doors to new members.
Okay, so this was a later...
That's what I thought. That's what I thought, because it wasn't in the original walkthrough that I saw.
Yeah.
Just in the video version. And you're like, what is that? And they're basically like honors clubs.
Yeah, very minimal to the story. It's just like additional mini games and ways that you can get extra energy. So I don't think it actually has any story relevance.
Yeah, not really. Long story short, and I think this will probably be like the only golden snitch for this episode, but depending on what you want to specialize in as far as your classes go, you would belong to, or you would try to sign up for one of those. You could letter or be accepted by all three of them.
Yeah, that was the thing, is like I was accepted by all three. So it didn't really you could go in each of them and you could get points for each of them too. So it wasn't like exclusive, which I didn't get.
But we'll talk about that more in the Golden Snitch section. So you meet Ben Copper, who's a first-year Gryffindor, and he's also a Muggleborn. He's a Muggleborn. And he's a coward who gets bullied by Marula a lot because she's one of them blood purists. And he thanks you for standing up to Marula earlier. And you go to talk to your prefect. She's mad that you lost points. A letter is sent to your common room from Snape saying, hey, maybe the potion thing wasn't your fault. Maybe somebody did mess with it. Can't prove it, but how about this? Here's an extra credit, Simon. Go to the potion storehouse and get some pickled slugs to prove your innocence. So you take Rowan, obviously, to go with you to that potions storehouse. My goodness. But, Jesse, it's a trap set by Marula.
That's why I was like, I don't remember Snape having a change of heart.
Snape would never assign extra credit. Yeah. No. So it's a trap set by Marula, because whenever you walk in there, the door shuts behind you. And you guys are like, what was that? The door's locked too. And all of a sudden you use your wand, Lumos, boom, the spell you just learned, and there's Devil's Snare all throughout the room.
Which is a vicious trap for a first year.
Right? And Marula's on the outside and she goes like, if you're so good at the Lumos charm, because that's one thing that was mentioned earlier, is Rowan said, you think you're the best, but Flitwick said Ozzy had the best Lumos charm from a first year he'd ever seen. She's like, if you're so good at it, then use it on Devil's Snare to get out. And I really like this. She makes a good pun. She says, something had to stop you from ruining Hogwarts. It might as well be Devil's Snare. And so, like, she's calling you a devil. Yeah. And that was clever. I liked it. Anyway, you fight it off while Rowan screams because the characters are like, Rowan says, you deal with it and I'll yell for help. That's just like your character is being tangled up over and over, having to fight each vine individually while Rowan is just in the corner of the screen banging on the door. Like, help us, get us out.
Yeah, she's on the alarm duty and you're on the actually save your lives duty.
Eventually, someone shows up to save you. And who is it? It's Hagrid. Yay. And he does the same thing he did when Harry met him for the first time. He busts down the door, all right, like he did at the hut on the rock. And he says, you're scaring the Devil's Snare, is what he tells your character. But he saves you. What's funny is you don't know how, because like Hagrid doesn't have a wand, and the screen just fades.
Well, if he busts down the door, maybe he just ripped you out of the closet.
That's the implication, but like he just shows up, says you're scaring the Devil's Snare, and your character goes, scaring it, and then it fades, and then it fades back in. So you guys are all just in the hallway again. So I just imagine Hagrid walked up and was like pulling the snares off. Yeah. Or he could have been like Tom Bombadil in the the first Lord of the Rings book, where he just walks up to Old Man Willow and says, you need to sleep now. If listeners know the Lord of the Rings series, you get that reference. In the extended versions of the movies, because Bombadil's not in it, they give that line to Treebeard whenever that one tree sucks up Merry and Pippin. Anyway, so he saves you, you're chatting in the corridor, and you make friends with Hagrid, and he tells you to go back to your common room. So at this point, you can customize your outfit. I never did that. Like, I don't often care about customizations no matter what game I play.
Well,
I don't spend that much time
on it. I never spent any money, but like you get enough that you can buy stuff. So I had like just the generic Ravenclaw sweater and a skirt and like not the stupid penny loafers because I hate them. So I like put my character in boots. But
so now it's time to go to your first flying class. And this is where you clean your broom in the first flying class. And the way that it's set up, it looks like in military movies when they clean their guns. They're like laid out long ways, like a rifle, and it's
you have like a bunch of different instruments.
Madam Hooch says a clean broom is a fast broom. So you're cleaning it up and you learn to summon your broom, up, and you get it. Now, we're in a class. Anytime we're in a class, we get a trivia question.
Oh, yay. I was always so good at these when I came.
Your trivia question, Jesse, and patrons, name the only house, I've said this multiple times, to beat Gryffindor multiple times during Harry's stint at Hogwarts.
I have been listening to you, Barry. It's Hufflepuff.
It's Hufflepuff. Ding, 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 ding. Now, for bonus points, I'll give you an extra 5 points if you get this right. Can you name all the instances that they won?
Well, do I have to name like the year or what went on?
Either.
Okay.
I wrote down just the years in mine.
Okay. Well, the third year. Did they win the first, second, and third?
No.
Okay. So the third year, I don't know. Probably the fifth year.
Correct.
And then I'll just go with the second.
The correct answer is the sixth year.
Sixth. Okay.
Yeah.
With Ron. Yeah. Okay.
So those are the 3 times that Hufflepuff overcame. So literally, I guess Hufflepuff won. Hufflepuff has a winning record against Gryffindor during Harry's time because his team only played them 5 times because he wasn't their 7th year and they didn't play the 4th year.
Yeah. Didn't he get but obviously, like, the 3rd year he was taken out of the game, and then the 6th year the 5th year he got taken out of the game, right? Because he wasn't allowed to play because of Umbridge.
That's correct.
And then, so it's always when Harry doesn't play. And then the 6th year was just Ron's fault, right?
So it was either the Ravenclaw or the Hufflepuff game where Harry gets knocked unconscious because that
Yes.
one guy just hits him with
Yes. So it's
beater's bat.
always that because Harry's taken out of the game that the
A win's a
Hufflepuffs
win,
win.
all right? A win's a win. There are over 700 different types of fouls that can be committed in Quidditch, and Hufflepuff didn't commit any of them
Yeah.
in those games. Harry lost because of other reasons.
Oh yeah, wasn't it his own teammate that
Yeah,
knocked
that
him
knocked
out?
him
Yeah.
out. So after you learn to summon your broom, from there you go to the courtyard to find Rowan. And I like that at this moment, like from now on, because earlier you customize your character is wearing whatever you had him wear, and everybody else is in school robes.
Yeah, that was the one thing that was weird is that like when you go to the story in classes, it doesn't switch your outfit back to your robes. You're just like wearing your colored sweater. Like-
What's even funnier is like the walkthrough that I'm watching. It's from Hogwarts Cafe. If anybody wants to check out that YouTube channel, this character's dripped out. Like it is one of the sickest cloaks ever, and he looks so cool, and he just stunts on everybody he walks
Yeah.
across.
That's the same thing in Hogwarts Legacy too. If you don't change your robes before going to class, you're just like wearing this funky hat and spectacles.
There's a guy on Instagram that does memes of like that are Hogwarts mystery based, and he does one where he's wearing goofy glasses, funny hat, all this stuff, and he walks into somebody's house and just like goes Revelio.
Oh yeah, you mean
Revelio.
Hogwarts Legacy. Sorry,
that's
you
what I
said
meant.
Hogwarts mystery.
Sorry, and he just starts stealing their stuff, and they're like, "That's our
Molly Ned,
stuff."
guys.
And he, Avada Kedavra. Like,
I've seen that guy. He's funny.
I'll message him, get him on the pod. But anyway, you and Rowan start chit chatting, and Rowan's like, I've been doing some digging on Marula, and I found out some information on her. But he's a little stinker because he goes, I don't know if I should tell you or not.
And you're like, now you have to.
I know. And your guy goes, how about this? If I beat you at gobstones, then you have to tell me. And Rowan's like, bet, that's a deal. And I like when they're talking about it. Rowan explains the rules to you, and he says, and if you lose a piece, like it sprays you, and that's all he says is that it sprays you in the face. And your character goes, sprays you with what? And Rowan says, no one knows, but it smells awful. And then your character says, like, enough of telling me the rules. I'll learn as I go. And I was like, that's me anytime the board game explanation gets a little too long.
Yeah, I know. Whenever someone tells me after an explanation of rules, they're like, I don't understand. I'm like, we're going to play. You're going to get it. It'll be fine.
Yep. Another funny line from Rowan is, some say gobstones isn't fun, but I call it the thinking wizard's Quidditch. I enjoyed it.
Which it's kind of funny too, because so this is one of the side mini games where you can like increase your relationship with characters by playing games with them, and increasing the relationship matters a lot because then you can choose certain characters to help you to do stuff, and if you don't increase your relationship with them, they're not an option. And as you get further along, a lot of these events are based off of like your qualities of you have knowledge, courage, and empathy. And so then if you like don't get your empathy high enough, then people like won't like talking to you. And then you get like stuck. You can't get a higher relationship status. And then like if your knowledge isn't high enough, you'll lose in gobstones or whatever. And so I'd always be like, I gotta add knowledge points.
That's funny. So you guys finish up your game. You've won, obviously. And there's a really funny moment where Rowan says, he tells you his dream. Like he's like being real with you and telling you something deep. And he says, he wants to be captain. Like it's my dream to become captain of the Hogwarts Gobstone team. And your guy's response, he just goes, and what about Marula? Like he doesn't address that at all.
Well, I just beat you in gobstones.
And Rowan, not to miss a beat, he says, well, she'd be a terrible gobstones captain. And your guy's like, not that, Rowan. I'm talking about like, what's the deets on her? What's the trash? What's the goods? And you learned that her parents are in Azkaban prison because they were supporters of you know who. Speak of the devil, she walks up, Marula, and she says, actually, I've been doing some digging on you guys too. And she learns about Ozzy's brother, and she says apparently he went missing after he got expelled. And the next time he resurfaced, he was working for Lord Voldemort. And I was surprised she actually dropped a Voldy bomb. She says his name. She doesn't say you know who.
Which is interesting too, because like assuming she was, parents her parents were on his side, they usually refer to him as the Dark Lord.
Yeah. She says the name. And Rowan says, you can't say that. And she says, I say what I want. And I wrote down, I'm starting to respect this girl. I like that line a lot. You call her a liar and say that her parents are definitely in Azkaban prison. And she gets mad at you for snooping. And Rowan's like, we just did what you did. Who are you calling the snooper? And actually, Rowan goes, he didn't snoop, I did. Like, I was the one that looked it up. So he always has your back. We love Rowan. But you walk away when she challenges you to a duel, and she hits you with the flippendo while your back is turned. And she walks away, and your character says, I need to get strong so I can whoop her butt. And that's kind of the next 2 chapters. It's like a training arc where you're learning these spells.
Montage. It's like going into oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name.
Oh, and I know what you're talking about. In Dragon Ball Z, the room that they train in.
No, I'm like literally thinking Harry Potter. The what is it? The Triwizard Cup?
Triwizard Tournament?
Yeah, the Triwizard Tournament. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. No, I know. I just brain fart. But no, when Harry's learning all of his spells for the maze.
Yeah. It's crunch time.
Yeah.
I gotcha. So chapter 4, dueling motives. And like I said, it's basically a training montage, but there are some other things thrown into it as well. So at one point, Rowan asks if you're mad about Marula and what she said about your brother. And you go, nah, because there is a bit of truth to it. And Rowan's character looks kind of scared and nervous, and he goes, which parts are true exactly? And he has like these squinty eyes. And he says, your character says, the vault part, Rowan. All right. And I don't think I mentioned that, but there are secret vaults that your brother claims that there were secret vaults in Hogwarts because that's the go-to method. Like I thought about it. I was like, half of the years that Harry's at school, it has to do with the secret chamber.
Yeah.
But there were secret vaults that your brother discovered. And so your character says, and I just camp out there. That is a big part of Hogwarts mystery, are these secret vaults. And so your character says, it's just the vaults part.
Basically, her brother had an excuse that people are like, oh, that's not real. It's a rumor. But he says there are these cursed vaults that were causing problems. And so he was like,
and that's why he snuck into them. Yeah, he said that the curses were going to get out. And that's why they're called cursed vaults. And some people, your character says, some people think he found one and he went mad from one of the curses in there. So there's a little more lore about Jacob. He got expelled and ran away from home, and he hasn't been seen since. So that's all that's true. Your character denies that he was working for Lord Voldemort, though. Your prefect walks up and says, hey, I heard Marula whooped you, boy. It was really funny. Like, Marula's talking all kinds of trash about you. And you ask her to teach you how to duel. I say her because the Gryffindor prefect is a girl named Angelica. I didn't look up the other ones. I should have done that. Futureberry will pop back in to say who the Ravenclaw prefect is. Hello, Futureberry here. Apparently, the Ravenclaw prefect for your first year in Hogwarts Mystery is somebody named Chester Davies, who is apparently the older brother to Roger Davies mentioned in the main story. Back to the podcast. And your prefect says that she doesn't really have time to teach you everything. Like, you got to go learn an offensive spell, a creative one, and a way to heal yourself. That's what you do in this chapter. You and Rowan go to the artifact room to find Gryffindor's secret dueling book. Because she's like, if you want good advice on which ones to choose, go get that artifact book, or go get that Gryffindor's dueling book in the artifact room. Does it change if you're a Ravenclaw? Is it Ravenclaw's dueling book? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember what one it was for, but there's one that you have to sneak into the Gryffindor common room.
Gosh, well, this is not a common. This is a artifact room.
Okay, then it could change.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So while you're there, a mysterious voice says your name. Ooh. Rowan swears it wasn't him, though. He's like, I didn't hear nothing and I didn't say nothing. You find the book finally, but then a mysterious vision appears. Like your character, like, it zooms out and you see like through a big mist or fog, you see stairs, a suit of armor, you see ice, you see a giant spider, you see something that kind of looks like an obscurus, like whirling around. Jesse's smiling because she knows a lot of this stuff. I don't know most of it. So
Yeah.
I'm interested
I know.
to see.
I'm remembering this like vision. It's cool playing it because you're like, oh, what are all these
Yeah.
things?
You also see a dragon in a, like, I wrote down a fancy booth. Later, when your character describes it, he says a golden tower. And I was like, oh, well,
Yeah.
looked like a fancy booth to me. It wasn't
And
that
like
big.
a little spoiler, but these are visions of all the cursed vaults and the
Mhm.
like challenges you have to go
Yeah.
through.
So Flitwick says, oh no, that's later. So the mysterious voice then says to you that the ice is here. The vault will open. Rowan doesn't hear it, and it doesn't help your like, I'm not crazy look. You know, like now you're starting. It's like when Harry hears the basilisk, and Ron's like, even in the wizarding world, hearing voices
Yeah.
isn't a good sign. Hagrid shows up, and it's time to give you an illegal pet. Yay! Because he's like, it's a really funny moment. Like you go out to the courtyard, Charlie's there. Charlie's in this game. You
Yeah,
can see
that
Charlie.
was so fun. You get to be friends with all the older Weasley
Nymphadora
siblings.
as well at one
Yeah.
point. But anyway, Hagrid's out there. You talk to him, and he's like, "Do you want a magical beast pet?" And you're like, "Isn't that not allowed?" And he goes, "No big deal." So you get a little pet. Back in the Great Hall, Rowan is an awesome friend because he says, "Hey, maybe you shouldn't be learning about how to duel. You need water, and you need to go to the hospital. I'll even walk you to the hospital. Let's go to the hospital wing together." But your character, you have to do convincing. Jesse alluded to it earlier, but you have to like have conversations and answer questions to like convince people what you want them to do. And so you have to answer a bunch of questions and convince them you're okay and that you should continue to learn how to duel.
Yeah, and it is very interesting because like if your points aren't high enough, certain paths are blocked to you. And so sometimes you have to like you have to take a bunch of classes to increase your points, and so you're just like stuck in history of magic trying to get your knowledge up.
So anyway, after you convince Rowan to continue to duel or to learn how to duel, he sends you to Flitwick to learn an offensive spell. Because he's like, Flitwick was a dueling champion. He'll help you out. So you show up to Flitwick. Flitwick says, not during class hours, like not during office hours, meet me in the courtyard. So you're not even in the classroom. You go meet him in the courtyard. And you ask Flitty if he really was a dueling champion. And his answer is basically, my shelf of trophies certainly say that I am.
It's cool too because if you play as a Ravenclaw, then Flitwick favors you, like in a lot of other.
Which he'll favor Ozzy because
Yeah.
Ozzy's a Ravenclaw. You ask him to teach you the offensive spell, and he says that the early curriculum is all about defensive spells. And your character's like, yeah, well, I need the advanced stuff. So he teaches you Expelliarmus. And he tells you not to seek out any duels, all right? Don't do any, this line was crazy. He said, don't do any unauthorized dueling. If you use this spell for anything other than self-defense, I'll be forced to recommend your expulsion. I was like, the Expelliarmus charm? Expulsion for that? That's crazy.
Yeah, that is.
Flitty doesn't play around. So Rowan, later, he teaches you the creative spell because you got to learn the creative spell. Do you remember what the creative spell is?
Creative. Oh, what do you mean?
I'm not even sure myself. It said when you duel, you need to have 3 types of things. You need an offensive, a creative, and a way to heal yourself.
The tickling charm.
It's Rictum Sempra.
Yeah.
That's right. The tickling charm. And at first, you practice on dummies.
I didn't refer to it as create. It's like the trick. It's like the stunning spell, you know?
At first, you practice on dummies. And it was really funny to me when Rowan goes, all right, you're ready. Tickle me. Because he said, you're not going to know if it worked on dummies. They don't feel.
Yeah.
You gotta like, tickle me, bro. And it's such a serious moment because like your character's like, are you sure? He's like, I'm sure. Rowan says, this is what friends are for. And then your character says, get ready for some intense tickling.
Which, okay, so going back to Harry's second year when he duels Malfoy, like
Mhm.
in the books, the spells they use are like the dancing spell and Rictum Sempra,
Mhm.
which is the tickling spell. But in the movie, it just like
It's
sends
just a
them
blast.
flying.
Yeah.
But you're like, that's not what those spells do.
So you tickle him, you just let him have it. He laughs his little pants off. Not really, that'd be weird. But he does laugh. And so we head off to potions after that, where Snape teaches you to brew Wiggenweld. Rowan says, I was gonna ask Snape to teach everybody this spell, but funnily enough, Marula got to him first and said she wanted him to teach it. And I had two notes. One was, it's odd that Snape did something that a student asked him to do,
Mhm.
you know? But later he says, my favorite pupil asked me to do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, if you asked him, he wouldn't do it.
And then your character also deduces that if she asked, that she's trying to learn how to duel as well, or get better at dueling as
Mhm.
well. And Snape walks up to you, both you and Rowan, and says, will I be interrupting your useless chatter with my teaching? But you flatter Snape some during this class because, like, you actually do a good job making the potion. And he walks up and he says, it's not terrible. But also, he calls Marula's perfect, and you have to respond. And so, if you, in the walkthrough I saw, your character chooses to, not flatter Snape. What is it? Appease Snape and go along with it.
Mm.
And so, Jesse, we're in a potions class. We're in a class. So you have a chance to earn points here.
Okay.
But I'm not going to ask you a trivia question. Since your character had to flatter Snape, you have to give me a compliment.
I have to give you.
And listeners, my patrons, you have to comment on this with a compliment for me.
For you?
For me.
Well, your notes are very thorough and I'm impressed.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Listeners, only one of you will get the points for this. Whichever compliment I like the most will get 10 points.
I thought you were going to ask me what the Wiggenweld potion ingredients were.
Nope. So I wrote down, the chapter's about to end. And as it's like finishing up, you and Rowan are talking and you're like, I want to solve this mystery. I want to solve this mystery. And you both go, there's so many mysteries. And I was like, Hogwarts mystery.
One thing though that I love about the story classes is a lot of times when you're like clicking through the classes, the teacher is saying things and there's dialogue with the teacher. So like a lot of the potions classes, Snape will tell you the ingredients that you need in the potion. And then when you go to like a little mini game in the class, it'll ask you a multiple choice question of like,
Oh, cool.
which ingredient should you put in?
Mhm.
And so I always thought that was so fun because it's relevant to like the
Yeah.
class you were learning. And it's like, you're in class and you're doing it too.
You're learning. I like that. Moving on now to chapter 5, our last chapter for this episode, the duel. You start out in charms and you're learning Wingardium Leviosa. I don't have a trivia question for you right here, unfortunately. So I think we're all out of trivia points for this episode. Or maybe I do have one. I do have a question for you.
Okay.
Your question, another easy one. You should be able to get it. Which syllable does Hermione tell Ron to stress
Oh, in the book or the movie?
in the book?
In the book? Ga.
That's correct. Ding, ding, ding. Another 10 points. So if you remember, I actually asked you and Jonathan that question, or one of you on an episode we all did together when we covered that chapter a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
So, maybe in the best of it. Something like that. You've answered that question before.
Okay.
But anyway, you also get your first glance of Peeves, at least in this walkthrough. You saw Peeves. Peeves is so ugly in this game.
Oh yeah.
He's horrendous
and
looking.
He's another, like the house elf, he's an energy point. So you always got to go find and click on Peeves.
Gotcha. Oh, so you go back to your prefect when they teach you how to duel. And they teach you how to duel by not really teaching you. They make you duel Rowan, like practice with Rowan. And you get to, the way dueling works in this game is you pick the spell you're going to cast, but you also like choose between a sneaky move, an aggressive move, or defensive. And it works like rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, so sneaky. There's sneaky moves, not the creative. Like you said, creative.
Well, the creative, that's what it was
Or
called in the
called that?
dialogue.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, it's like a rock, paper, scissors system.
So aggressive will always beat sneaky, defensive will beat aggressive, and sneaky beats defensive. And so whoever wins that toss-up, they get to go first. So I think you both still get to go,
Yeah.
but whoever wins the toss-up does their spell first. So you duel Rowan a bit, you whoop his butt, obviously, and he's a champ. Like, I love Rowan. He goes, you walk over to him, are you okay? And he's like, hey, if this makes us better duelers, then getting a few bumps and bruises ain't that big of a deal. Rowan, you rock. Before you head off to your duel, though, you go adopt a Niffler because Hagrid asked you to help him out.
So
you have this random side quest.
This is another like late game ad. They added in magical creatures, and so
Makes
you can
sense.
like collect all the magical creatures and everything. So also not main story related, but just like
Gotcha.
another fun thing.
But there is like a side quest before the duel where you got to go find food for the Niffler. The more you feed him and the more you take care of him, he like grows to like you more. And he starts off with mistrust. And by the end of this, you should have him at indifferent. And it's like, my wife. Back to the story. You head to the courtyard where Marula is trying to whoop up on Ben, the Muggleborn. I actually didn't even mean to say Mudblood that time.
Yikes.
But she's doing this to get your attention. And you make her, you do the thing where like, because Flitwick told you, you can't be the first one to throw a punch. So you're kind of like, I'm not going to fight you, Marula, but you're secretly hoping she'll throw the first punch. Like, just swing, bro, just swing. That's what your character's pretty much doing. And there's a full crowd watching you, whole bunch of students there. She throws a punch, or a spell, I guess, and you start to duel one another. Your character obviously wins the duel. You trash her in front of everybody, and you tell her to apologize to Ben. And she starts monologuing about how she runs the school. She's awesome. And that is when Flitwick and Snape walk up. The crowd disperses, and they give you a talking to. Flitwick asks if you swung first, to which you're like, heck no, you told me not to. And then he defends you to Snape. He's like, well then, young Ozzy was just defending himself. All right, not a big deal. Snape tells you both to get cleaned up from your duel and to meet him at the West Tower so that you can discuss the consequences for your actions. Dun, dun, dun. And that is the end of chapter 5. And so this episode, it's already an hour long. I'm going to cut it here. We'll save all the golden snitches and fun stuff for the third installment when we do like not the side clip, but like the bonus missions and other fun things. So we'll save that for the third episode. This was part 1 of our Hogwarts mystery story, year 1, part 1. Hope you enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to doing more. So yeah, if you want more stuff like this, sign up for the Patreon. We'll see who wins the House Cup. We'll see if Jesse wins it for Ravenclaw each year. We'll do one of these once a month. We'll have our second bonus episode each month as well. And then if we get even more listeners, even more patrons subscribed, then who knows, maybe I'll add a third and a fourth monthly episode. But for now, just the 2. If you want to hear the rest of this story, if you're like, yo, these vaults, what's going on with these vaults?
Curses.
I felt a little sad because the cliffhanger in chapter 6 is where it gets really good as far as like, what's the mystery? Because that's when you hear more about the vaults. So that'll be my little teaser.
Yeah.
Stick around for that.
Though some of the characters we've already been introduced to, I'm just like hitting it and remember like Ben, crazy character. Like he starts as such a wimp.
Careful,
but
Jesse.
I know.
Careful.
I'm like just teasing you. Okay, Marula, awesome. Like the way they have certain characters change, you're like, whoa, they're trying to be actually literally.
Actually got some good writers.
Yeah.
I like it. Very good. Well, listeners, hope you enjoyed this bonus episode. If you want to hear more, sign up for the Patreon. Jesse, thank you for being on, and we'll see you guys next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Retold. Artwork for this podcast was created by Rachel Ortlip. Music was created by Taylor Jarvis. And the Retold podcast is produced by me. That's right, I made this.